I wanted to make a video on a couple of verses that I just read today. So this is chapter 7, verse 35 and 36. And it says, O children of Adam, if there come to you messengers from among you, relating to you my communications, then whoever will be careful of their duty and act correctly, they shall have no fear, nor shall they grieve. As for those who reject our communications and turn away from them arrogantly, they are the inmates of the fire, and they shall live therein. I am going to keep this video short because this is extremely simple. So, if there come to you messengers, people who bring a message, people who tell you what is in the Quran. So let's say somebody says that God said in the Quran, if one or both of your parents reach old age with you, do not say to them as much as oof, nor criticize them, but address them with respect, and be humble towards them, and say, Our Lord, please have mercy on them, for they raised me when I was a child. That is what is said in the Quran. So that is a message, and I just delivered you a part of a message. The other parts you may get from other people, it does not matter. But what these verses say is, O children of Adam, this is talking to all of us. If there come to you messengers, and this isn't just talking about prophets like Jesus, like Prophet Muhammad. Messengers can be simply preachers. As long as they tell you the truth, they preach to you the message. They tell you the message. Oh, it's not even preached to you. They just tell you the message. They teach you what God said. If they come to you, and anybody can do this purpose. Anybody can sit down and read the Quran, and when they see you do something wrong, correct you and say, hey, brother, this is where it is. You know? And the verse I quoted, I think is in chapter 17 about the parents. So anybody that does that, as long as it's from the book, you just got a piece of the message. And whoever hears the message, whoever will be careful of their duty. Let's say you learned that one piece, and now you become careful of your duty. Now you are trying to treat your parents correctly, like God says. If they ask you something, don't say to them as much as oof, which is the slightest gesture of annoyance. You're not going to be perfect every time, don't get me wrong. But as you are trying that, you are careful of your duty. And in all honesty, you really owe them that. So God isn't really asking you anything much. God actually says, remember that you owe them this. They raised you when you were a child. Like literally, if you were an orphan, nobody would love you. Nobody would take care of you. Yeah, society would maybe give you some food, but that's why we consider foster homes and homes for abandoned children bad places to be, is because we know that if you do not have parents, that life sucks for you. So if you do have parents, the only reason why life does not suck for you is because they are really, really striving to take care of you. And this is hard to imagine when you are annoyed by a person you don't need anymore. You don't technically need, but because a lot of people actually still leech off of their parents. They don't contribute anything to the household. Instead, they just parasite off of them. That has become a new norm. But that's besides the point. Whoever hears the message and does what it says, is careful of their duty, for them there will be no fear, nor shall they grieve. That is what God says. Those who obeyed the law, those who when they hear the law, obey it, on them there shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve. And of course, in other places of the Quran, which I can't remember the reference right now, God says that those who act blind and deaf, when they hear the Quran, when they hear the message, they're not gonna, their story does not end well. And then basically God says it here, at those who hear our communications and turn away from them arrogantly. And the only reason why anybody would turn away from these messages, from these laws, is because they are arrogant. They think they know better. They think that they know better. Because all God asks from you is goodness. Who's going to do good to your parents if it's not going to be you? God asks you not to cheat people in business. If you ever got cheated in business, you know how terrible that is. So God says, don't get infected by that. Don't kill don't kill anybody unless they killed somebody first. Don't lie. Don't commit immoralities. All of this is in the Quran. If you really want to find the core of what it means to be a Muslim, what it means to walk on a straight path, what it means, just start with chapter 6, verses 151 to 153. But those who reject this out of arrogance, which is the only reason why anybody would reject goodness, which they value when it's directed at them, why anybody would want to not be good, not be reasonable, it's arrogance. You simply think you know better, even though you know nothing. So whoever rejects this, their destiny is hell. If you hear a law from the Quran and you understand it, you don't understand it is you hear a simple law, you know exactly what it says, like the one I quote it, and then you don't do it, or at least you don't try sincerely do it and keep trying, you are going to burn in hell, whether you believe in it or not. For no reason. You will wish that you were dead. You will literally wish that you were dead. I know most people fear death. I know because it's the job I do. All my patients, none of them want to die. I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. But we all have to die. And we see it as some sort of a bad thing to a person that is on fire. Death is the only thing they want for. So this immortality that everybody seeks, you're actually going to get it. Congratulations. That is a promise from God. You will be immortal. Except you will either be in pain for the rest of eternity or in pleasure. And all you have to do is obey God. And all God asks from you is something that you already know it's good. I hope you hear me. I hope you hear people who say the same thing as me. You're not going to like eternity if you feel pain for the rest of eternity. That's all.